So being a DevOps engineer, first we should ask ourselves why we need Linux. Because you may or we heard this word a number of times in our IT life. So a number of times, even non-IT user can also hear the word called Linux, Windows, Unix, and blah blah. But especially why we are giving importance to Linux. Very simple. To run, first let us speak from basic level. If you want to run any kind of software on your environment, like platform. So what is meant by platform generally? OS plus processor, right? So if you want to run a Kubernetes or Docker or Ansible or any kind of software entity, if you want to run that software on your environment, we need a operating system. So that's very basic info. But take another step. If you want to maintain security, proper security. So compare with the Windows, Linux provides a better security. How it provides a better security, yes, we'll discuss in terms of user level authentication, authorization, access control. Second one is especially read level permission, write level permission, and execute level permission on the folders and files. The third one is encryption level. Of course, we have lots of security features we'll discuss, but beginner, the first point is one is user level authentication. Second one is permission level. The third one is encrypted. Once the data is entered, then automatically your data is very secure. So hacking is less when compared with Windows operating system. Then third point is the most of the production servers. As you know very well, all banking, finance, security, like healthcare and insurance and e-commerce, financial applications deployed on Linux servers. Next reason is there are some tools like Docker and Kubernetes and Ansible is built on top of the Linux architecture. So that's the reason you have to learn operating system. Of course, a lot of other features are there, but if you want to compare with the architecture point of view, as said very clearly, when you looking at the rebooting time and antivirus software side, upgradation side, when you compare with the Windows, so Linux is always a better choice. And more on, Linux is open source, but Windows is not open source. Sorry, Windows is not open source. It's a paid service, right? And license. Of course, except Red Hat, CentOS, and Ubuntu are the freeware servers, free servers. So next, we have different comparisons. Right now, I'm not going with the comparison of Windows and Linux operating system, but why we need Linux on why we need Linux for DevOps side. So beginner, or if you have some reasonable experience in the cloud point of view. Yeah, sorry. So if you want to create a virtual environments on the cloud, that is also one reason why we need Linux part. So security point of view, then open source point of view, and reusable tools, especially like Docker and Kubernetes. And next point is especially when you're working on data centers, antivirus softwares, and the rebooting side. The best option is always Linux when you compare with the Windows. Uh, that's one reason you need to know, you need to use Linux as a preferred operating system on our DevOps environment. And next one is, mm, yes, that's the reason. So we have other reasons, but in this context, I can't blow out because you will get confused. So once I know the reason why we need Linux, what next? I want to know what kind of flavor I want to use in Linux. Even, and sorry, another reason for using the Linux is, multi-user multitasking operating system. Multi-user and multitasking. So at a time, uh, from the different terminals, more than one user is going to log on into the data centers. We can perform more than one task at a time. That is one of the most best feature of the server-side operating system, like Linux, Red Hat. Okay, so that's a one reason. Okay, multi-user multitasking operating system, and then open source. Antivirus is not required frequently, just like Windows. Because of the reason, most of the times people are going for operating system called as Linux. So this is one reason. Okay, I hope you got this. Why we need Linux in the Linux? Why we need Linux in the DevOps environment? Next point.